international partners are pulling back.
Arizona's Attorney General and 11 other states have filed a new lawsuit alleging the president exceeded his authority in imposing the tariffs. The White House has defended its policy, arguing the U.S. trade deficit is a national emergency. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, fishing in a protected area between Hawaii and the Marianas will still be banned in nearshore waters under an executive order signed by President Trump last week. That's according to the Western Pacific Regional Fishery Management Council, which is defending the president's action, saying it will help U.S. fishermen. The order reopens parts of the Pacific Heritage Marine National Monument to commercial fishing. Some environmental groups are alarmed by the order, with the Center for Biological Diversity calling it a slap in the face to science. And about 1,000 full-time FEMA workers are expected to take voluntary buyouts to leave their jobs just weeks ahead of hurricane season. That's about a fifth of its staff. The buyouts are part of DOJ's latest staff reduction efforts, and after President Trump has criticized FEMA for months, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has promised to eliminate the agency altogether. Competition begins tonight at the Merrie Monarch Festival, with 13 dancers taking hula's biggest stage, vying for the title of Miss Aloha Hula. Last night's Hōʻike performances sure set the tone for the festivities. Dylan Ancheta joins us live now from Hilo with more. Hi, Dylan.
Hey, aloha, Ashley. Thank you so much. The excitement is continuing here at the Naniloa in Hilo. We've got a Tahitian group playing downstairs right now. More people are coming into their makeke. There's vendors all over this hotel, and that just continues to ramp up the spirit here in Hilo for Merrie Monarch. Now, tonight, as you mentioned, is the first night of Miss Aloha Hula. It kicks off the competition aspect of the festival. But before we get to that, I want to talk about what happened last night. Hōʻike was absolutely stunning. It was a showcase of cultures from not just in Hawaii, but around the Pacific. And there was so many special moments that really made people go, wow. One major highlight was the Maori Queen. She was in attendance, and the group from Aotearoa absolutely showcased the most beautiful of their culture. The mele, the dance, the hakas. It was so moving to be there and witness in person. And we actually spoke to some people who were there at Hōʻike. Here's what they said.
I've danced hula my whole life, and it's awesome to be here every year and to see all of the new dancers and the new kumus and everything, the mana, everything about Merrie Monarch is the best.
Absolutely, indeed. The mana is in the air and you can feel it. Now, looking forward to tonight, the soloist competition will be taking place. We have so many talented contestants representing their halau in hopes of being crowned the next Miss Aloha Hula. You'll see them perform in both Kahiko and Awana. And coming up later in This Is Now, we're going to talk to a former Miss Aloha Hula herself and get a very special performance. So stay tuned for that. Live in Hilo, Hawaii, I'm Dylan Ancheta. We'll send things back to you.
Hey, thanks, Dylan. Let's take a look at our hour-by-hour forecast. Outside we go. We've got southerly winds around 10 miles per hour. It's 84 degrees outside, but I want to point out something very specific about this live camera view you can see out there. We've got a little bit of fog on the live tower cam. You can see it a little bit foggy out there when we're looking west. Expanding this out throughout the rest of this evening, you'll notice we'll be in the green, seeing fair weather out there throughout the rest of this afternoon and evening. Really nice out there, but a little bit warm. South-southeasterlies will continue all the way into the overnight. A quick look at our exclusive VOG forecast. This data is courtesy of our friends over at Manoa. You can see all of the sulfur dioxide and Hilo moving off towards the northwest. Of course, this is coming from episode 18 of the eruption at Kilauea, which happened earlier this week. It's on pause for now, but we're still seeing the impacts. I'll give you a further breakdown coming up.
Thank you, Drew. Border Patrol agents say 2 German tourists who were detained and deported out of Hawaii last month plan to work in the islands illegally. The young women told a German newspaper they booked a spontaneous 5-week-long trip to Hawaii after graduating from high school and claimed they were detained because they did not have their lodging arranged. Now, in a statement, U.S. Customs and Border Patrol said they were denied entry after attempting to enter the U.S. under false pretenses, and that the tourist visas would not have allowed them to work in the U.S. The women claim they were detained overnight in harsh conditions.
I think what surprised me about this particular case, in all my 20 years of helping visitors in crisis, I've never heard of a situation where someone was detained and then put into the federal detention center like this.
According to reports, they were eventually denied entry to the U.S., and the travelers requested deportation to Japan instead of back to Germany. Mililani residents have a chance to talk with Honolulu Mayor Rick Blangiardi and other city leaders tonight. The mayor is holding a town hall at Mililani High School at 7 p.m. Residents will be able to hear from him and various department heads and share their concerns about issues affecting the neighborhood. It's one of 7 meetings being held across the island. The state auditor's office says the Department of Education's driver education program is, quote, incomplete, loosely organized, and inconsistent. An audit of the program found DOE never established statewide policies to guide the program. It's also critical of the Department of Transportation, claiming a DOT specialist overstepped their authority and eliminated DOE's ability to train new instructors. The legislature requested the audit to look into why teenagers on the neighbor islands have difficulty enrolling in the DOE program. Child support disputes no longer have to involve a visit to the courthouse in Hawaii. The Department of Attorney General announced its transition to conducting administrative child support hearings almost exclusively by video conference. Now, it's part of the department's efforts to modernize operations. They first started doing virtual hearings during the COVID-19 pandemic, but until recently, it could only be done over the phone. We are seeing big changes in this country when it comes to student loans. The Department of Education said borrowers in default need to pay up, and that means millions may soon see their wages garnished. And millions more who aren't in default could see their payments go up. Nancy Chen has more.
Have you always wanted to be a teacher? Yes. I wanted to do something that was going to make an impact on people, on my community, on the world.
It's not about the paycheck. It would be nice if it was more, right? But that's the heart of public service, is doing it for others.
Corey Mason and Rachel Dubrell both teach at a public high school in Norwich, Connecticut. Their jobs requiring advanced degrees, they say, that force them to take out tens of thousands of dollars in federal student loans.
You cannot miss a payment. That then jeopardizes other things that you have to pay for.
Oh, you get it.
For more than a decade now, repaying those loans on time has meant hard choices.
That's how it should be spelled?
Every extra penny I feel like I had went towards this debt.
Those payments counted towards eventual debt relief under the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. The deal: work for the public sector, and student loans would be canceled after 10 years or 120 payments. To make their payments more affordable, the teachers enrolled in a program known as SAVE, which based their loan payments on their incomes. But last summer, the program was blocked in court, leaving its roughly 8 million borrowers in jeopardy. Payments also no longer counted towards debt forgiveness.
And it was essentially frozen, like our progress was frozen at that point. We're literally living in this limbo of not knowing where the paperwork is. There's no phone number, no fax number, no email for them.
In February, the Department of Education took down online applications for all income-driven repayment plans for 5 weeks. The Education Department said the applications were taken down to revise the forms, and it expects loan providers to resume processing by May 10th. But some advocates say the backlog could still take months or even years to clear.
This is chaos.
Mike Pierce heads a Student Borrower Protection Center, which has filed a lawsuit against the Education Department on behalf of the union Dubrell and Mason belong to.
These public service workers who are doing everything we've asked of them, serving in our communities, are stuck in debt even though they have a legal right to be debt-free.
Borrowers like Duberl and Mason are left not knowing when their loans will be forgiven, both within just 5 payments of the required 120.
What does it mean to be that close and be in limbo right now? It's like heartbreaking. We've been working so hard towards like finally being able to say, okay, this debt is done.
And then now to literally be in the last inches of it and to have it just, the floor fall out from under us is very painful.
The turmoil happens against the backdrop of steep job cuts in the education department, nearly half its workforce. On top of that, the president plans to move the student loan program to a different agency altogether, a potentially seismic shift as financial futures hang in the balance. Nancy Chen, New York.
When we return, we'll head back to Hilo and talk story with a well-known kumu hula and former Miss Aloha Hula. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's another busy day in Hilo for the Merrie Monarch Festival, and we all know that fashion is a big part of the celebration. Dylan Ancheta joins us live now from Hilo with a few special guests. Dylan?
So much. We are back here in the Naniloa lobby, and I am joined by two very special people, Chaz and Natalie Ai Kama'u, representing the Kama'u Ohana. How are you folks doing today?
Doing great.
Aloha, thank you so much for having us.
Of course. So we're going to talk about a few things with them, but first we're going to dive into the newest business venture of Mr. Chaz here. Show off that hat, please. Let's take a good look at that, because they just launched the Weha Hat Bar?
Yes, sir. We opened up in Waimea, where my family's from, the Lindsay Ohana, big Paniolo family. So when I moved there, felt responsible for a legacy. Not a cowboy, I can do a mean cowboy hula, but I figure I could still offer something to the community in my own way. We didn't have hats on island, so I found a family that would teach me to shape hats and opened up in November.
Beautiful. And speaking of cowboy hula, stick around and you might see him dance some of that. But I want to ask, where do you find your inspiration to create such things, to represent your ohana? Where do you draw that from?
I think it's pretty fitting to ask that question here during Merrie Monarch, because I find fashion designers to be the best when they're hula dancers, because we're trained to be storytellers and to consider and be intentional in the way that we create and design. And so that's where I draw my inspiration from. It's from hula, it's from my kupuna, it's from the hula legacies that I come from, and watching my grandparents and my parents prepare performances like for the Merrie Monarch, where they have to consider every little detail. That's where I draw my inspiration from, and I hope I'm making everybody proud.
Well, as they say, hula is in the air, H-E-I-R. And speaking of hula legacies, your ohana not just is a rich Paniolo legacy, but the hula legacies, because we have a former Miss Aloha Hula herself, kumu hula singer, musician, award-winning Natalie Aikoma'u. I want to ask you, tell us about your journey when you were Miss Aloha Hula. What was that like?
Well, when I entered in 1990, it was actually my second time. In 1988, our halau entered Merrie Monarch for its first time, and my parents, I was 19, and my parents put my name in, and we knew nothing, and just came and brought it. And I came in second, and I was completely satisfied with that. And then they secretly put my name in 2 years later, didn't tell me till January. Yes, and then actually started teaching me in March. But I quit my job after, finding out, and gave that time to prepare. So grateful for all the lessons they taught me, and those lessons are who I am, not just as a dancer, but as a mom, as a singer, and as a business owner, as a representative of Hawaii. And so grateful for the title that says Miss Aloha, because that's the most important part, is aloha. It's not the hula. Hula is always second. We will always take second to aloha, and living a life like that of aloha.
Beautifully said. Talk about a surprise. Hey, surprise, you're running for Miss Aloha Hula twice. I want to ask you, we are hours away from competition. Where should the minds of the contestants be right now? If you're competing, what are you doing at this very moment?
All right. This is what my mom taught me. Mom, I'm giving away the secret. We do a shopping list. We list all of the instructions and every needful thing you need to learn and every needful thing you need to do on that stage and remember. And as you enter the stage, you check off your shopping list. Go down that list of everything your kumu taught you, all the little itty-bitty instructions, knock them out one by one, and the judges will feel it.
The judges will feel it, the audience will feel it, and everyone will be there cheering on every single one of the contestants. Mahalo for sharing that insight. Stick around, we're going to hear a special performance for them in just a little bit. So for now, we'll send things back to the studio.
Hey, thanks, Dylan. Stick around. We're going to have your first alert forecast coming up after the break, tracking Kona winds and VOG, your exclusive H&N VOG forecast after the break.
First Alert weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Thursday, everybody. Almost to Aloha Friday. Today is no longer a First Alert weather day. That system that's been off to our northwest didn't get close enough to the island chain to really impact us, but we're still seeing some of the impacts in terms of winds out there. We've got Kona winds out there across the state continuing through Friday, and of course we're tracking VOG as well. I want to give you another look at our exclusive VOG forecast. Again, you're only going to find this on air here at Hawaii News Now. You can see as we're going forward, you'll notice all of the VOG plume moving away from Hawaii Island and moving up towards the northwest. This is around Friday at 5 a.m. Still seeing some hazy conditions out across the entire state. Of course, the highest concentrations of sulfur dioxide and the other volcanic fumes still right around Hawaii Volcanoes National Park as we're going into Friday afternoon. Of course, this is all happening because of these Kona winds. The low pressure system off to our north is actually pulling up all of this humid air from the south and southeast. We've got southerly winds in town around 10 miles per hour, 16 miles per hour out of the east-southeast in Hilo. A little bit warm over there as well. And just a quick look at our First Alert windcast going throughout the rest of this evening. This is still the story. We'll start to see light trade winds returning Saturday afternoon into Sunday, and a more typical trade wind pattern by the time we go into next week. But overall, over the next couple of days, southeasterlies are going to continue, so it's going to be humid and warm out there. Our First Alert futurecast, you can see going forward, all of that moisture still off to the west of Kauai, but really not impacting us too much. This is around Thursday afternoon, around 3 p.m. Some pop-up showers over each island still possible, maybe a few heavier showers over on Kauai, but really not as much as we were originally forecasting for. That flood watch has been dropped and the system stayed further towards the west. And you can see that in our First Alert radar and satellite, just showing you a quick look at what's going on outside. Relatively dry out there, a little bit of cloud cover over Kauai right now. Zooming out, there's still the low pressure system. Here's the center. It's pulling up all of that moisture up from the south, and just zooming in a little bit closer to Kauai. The heaviest rainfall, again, is out towards the west. Kauai, relatively dry. That's true for Oahu as well. Maybe a little bit of showers coming down near Kahuku. Hawaii Island, relatively dry as well. Your surf and shoreline forecast, you can see right there, north-facing shores around 1 to 3, west-facing shores small around 0 to 2. That south-facing swell is on the decline for this afternoon. And just here's a quick look at your First Alert 7-day forecast. The next couple of days are going to be really nice but really warm. High temperatures around 86 degrees heading into Friday and Saturday.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, our Merrie Monarch coverage continues with a live hula performance from Hilo. We'll be back in 2 minutes. always like to end the show on a good note, so let's take you live back to Hilo, where Dylan is standing by with a special performance. Take it away, Dylan.
Hey, thank you so much. Yes, we got the special performance. It's a Hilo exclusive for Merrie Monarch. We're just going to send things right over to them. Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly present Iolani Jazz and Natalie Aikama'u live at the Nani Loa. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the fun that we're having here at Merrie Monarch 2025. We're so honored to have them. One more time, everybody. Natalie Aikama'u and her ohana.
Aloha!
So much fun. Now, really quickly, we have a few seconds. I want to ask you, what was that song about? Obviously the rodeo, but there's a special connection.
This song was written for our great uncle, Uncle Poco, the grandest of all Paniolo.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, the Aikama'u Ohana right here live at the Nani Loa. Stay with Hawaii News Now for all your Merrie Monarch fun. Aloha.
Aloha everyone and welcome to Top Story Hula is Life. Thousands of hula dancers have come and hit this historic stage here in Hilo. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Paka and Sunny here as well as
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hilo.
I was so excited.
Welcome to our home, Makena.
I'm McKenna Maduli, and as always, so incredibly grateful to be sharing this time and space with all of you. Mahalo nui for tuning in. You know, it is one of my favorite times of the year. I affectionately call it hula season, where we all get ready to gather around our TVs and enjoy the beloved Merrie Monarch Hula Festival. The week-long festival, which is now in its 61st year, has become a worldwide phenomenon seen by hundreds of thousands of people in nearly 150 countries and more than 6,000 cities internationally. We here at home in Hawaii tune in as hundreds of dancers in Halo. Some of them are cousins, sisters, aunties, brothers, cousins, as they make their way to Hilo to show us the best hula in the world. And they have 7 minutes, you guys, 7 minutes for each performance to hit that historic stage in Hilo. But have you ever wondered, what are they judged on? What makes a winning halo? Over the next hour, we have esteemed humuhula, both past and present judges, who will be here to answer those questions. Before we begin, please say aloha to my one-man hula band, Ikaika Mendez. Aloha, Ikaika. What a beautiful leo you have. Now, where on Maui are you from?
I'm from Kanaio Honuaula, southeast.
Oh, wow. Now, are you a lover of hula?
Oh yes, lover of mele and hula. They come together.
Oh, well, you are going to enjoy this show because it is jam-packed. You ready?
Yes.
All right, to get us in the hula spirit, everybody, take a look at this.
As the world awaits for hundreds of hula dancers, their kumu hula and halau to travel to the Merrie Monarch Hula competition in Hilo Town, there are esteemed Merrie Monarch judges who are busy studying their kumu hula fact sheets, learning the mo'olelo or story behind the mele that they are about to perform. Each halau practiced for hours, weeks, leading to months of preparation to give everything they have to perform on that historic stage in Hilo for 7 minutes.
With 1,148 points.
Will their name be announced? How do they place? What makes a winning performance that leads to a winning halau? From oli to mele to costumes to precision. In this Talk Story special, we sit down with past and present Merrie Monarch judges, all kumu hula, rooted in culture, language, and hula, who collectively make the award-winning decisions.
In first place, the highest score.
In this special, Hula is Life, 7 minutes.
Dream show come true. Oh, it's gonna be a good hour, everybody. Our first two guests have been teaching hula combined for over 104 years. They are true kumu hula and pillars in our community, our lahui. Both have judged the Merrie Monarch Hula competition and serve as judges this year. Please help me welcome from Halau o Napua Kukui, kumu hula Ed Collier, and from Keli'i Ka'apuni Honua Ke'ena A'o Hula, kumu hula Leimomi Ho. Aloha, you two. Wow, thank you so much for being here. It's going to be a great way. So many questions, right, for judges. I think if we could jump in, what is the process? When does it begin for you as judges?
I think it starts in February when we receive the fact sheets. However, prior to that, we have 2 meetings with all the kumu, and it's just to go over rules, regulations, and if there are any kind of problems for those who were in the year past, they could bring it up at that time and see if it can be remedied.
Kumu hula are invited?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Wow. And from those fact sheets, Auntie Momi, if you can describe to me, how do the fact sheets come? And if we can describe to the audience watching exactly what the fact sheets are before they get to the 7 minutes on stage.
Okay, fact sheets are like that thick.
Wow.
They share with us their mana'o on costumes, adornments, why they chose the mele, and then they'll explain it to us, their thought on it.